for me, I'm only 4 or 5 deep in my career, and I think there's maybe like 25 minutes worth of footage to watch of my fights. And, there's just a lot of questions there that are yet to be answered. And, I'm living in the deep waters every day in the gym. So, it'd be good to show and that I can do that. And if I do go to decision, then great. Like, I get to show that I can go 5 rounds, but I don't see it going there, to be honest. I think I'll get him out of there within 2 rounds.
First of all, introducing our challenger.
Coming out of the blue corner. He's going to step in, and he does. It's all over.
Let's bring on the boom. This is Eternal MMA.
Right, everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining us here on another edition of the Eternal Insiders Podcast, powered by Fight HQ. Fight HQ, the official uniform partner for Eternal MMA. You can visit fighthq.com.au for all of your combat sports, training, and apparel needs. And with that, let us welcome in today's guest, once the most highly sought-after prospect in all of Australian mixed martial arts, now exclusively signed Eternal MMA athlete, and he is set to compete against David Martinez at Eternal 87 for the vacant Eternal MMA Lightweight Championship, Infinite MMA's own, and the fighting pride of Ballarat, Victoria. Harry, the human highlight reel Webb. Harry, thanks for joining me on the show again here, brother. How are things with you? Appreciate your time.
Hey, Luke. Yeah, it's great to be back on. I think third time now. So, doing well, bro. Just finished up training for the morning and chilling now before the next session, but everything's going very smooth.
I like it, man. I just peeking out the back window there. I don't know if you're like me, you're getting a little bit of sunlight finally back down here in these parts. I'm obviously down in Bendigo, and we're starting to get a little bit of warmth. Are you feeling a bit of warmth down that way yourself now and getting finally a little bit of good weather?
Mate, it's good. It's like I feel like I haven't been out in the sun for like 4 months. So, it's nice to finally get some rays, but it's still freezing down here. It's like -1 in the morning, but it's better than it has been.
Yeah, we don't get the benefits of up in Queensland, man, where I'm sure they're not working up to their cars completely frosted over in their windows. I don't know about you, but when I'm going to work in the morning, I'm pouring friggin' hot water all over my friggin' windows just to get the car frosted over. I'll get the frost off. Yeah.
I'm lucky I've got a garage now, but yeah, when I was back in Berlin, it was a lot of driving to work with my head out the window like this. So the garage is nice.
Now we got the garage down here too, but the missus has taken up the car, and I've got a whole bunch of shit sitting in the spot where my car normally would be. So I'm dealing with that, but that's on me. So that's but moving past it, man. I mean, we're a little bit bit over 2 weeks out from the fight now, so we're getting close, man. How are you feeling? How's the preparation? How's the mind? How's the body? How's everything feeling?
Yeah, really good. Like, obviously this camp's been a little bit different for me, just from previous camps. Not having the gym, we've still got a space, so we're very grateful for that space that we've been given to train in. But we just had a small group of guys, and we've all got fights booked in, so everyone's been putting in the work, and we've been working really hard, and it's all coming together now. We've got 2 weeks out, so finishing touches for the camp next week, and start to taper off, and I'll be ready to go August 17th.
Now, of course, we don't have to talk about everything because it's been talked about so much, and I'm sure that you want to move on from it as much as possible. But, of course, in the wake of the atrocities against your gym, how is everyone sort of handling that? You just mentioned, of course, you're training in some other gyms. Are we any closer to getting Infinite MMA back up and running? What's it sort of been like as we're sort of a couple of months removed from that terrible event?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about like the reopening of the gym. I think it's a bit of a process for the insurance and everything to go through. So they're still dealing with that currently, but just at this stage, we've just like obviously had to keep things going for the fighters, and there's a group of about 10 of us, and John's obviously got no income, and we're just meeting up in this empty shop with a few mats and just getting the work in, and but like hopefully. In the next few months, we see the gym back up and running for all those other guys and the business. So, hopeful, but it's just a bit of a process to get everything dealt with.
What was good to come out of that, of course, was the community response, and with the GoFundMe and everything that attracted a lot of people that were willing to contribute towards the gym. I think I had a look online before. It looks like, is that still open as far as the GoFundMe goes?
I think so.
It's still
as far
open,
as I'm
yeah.
concerned. Yeah.
Yep. So if anyone interested, I mean, contributing towards the gym, that is still opening, and it's pretty close to the goal there. I think the goal was $25,000. We're sitting about $21,000. So anyone still interested in making some contributions towards a fantastic gym down here in Victoria, search for Infinite MMA on the GoFundMe and make some contributions there to a fantastic cause to get these guys' gym back up and running. But in the wake of that, you said you're obviously been able to train in some other gyms in Ballarat. Something to come out of that bomb squad. What can you talk about the bomb squad? Is this something I read into? It's obviously something that's kind of come out from the wake of what sort of happened there, and it's just sort of a bit, can I assume it's a collective of those couple of guys just sort of sticking together and training together from what happened?
Yeah. So I think, we just sort of took it in our stride and thought we might as well run with it. The gym got firebombed, so
I love it.
we're just like, we'll just run with it and just go with the bomb squad. So that's the new sort of rebranding. We're still Infinite MMA, of course, but at this stage, we've got the bomb squad sign up in the new gym, the banner there. So it's cool. It's cool. And I don't know if we're gonna keep it going, but for now, bomb squad.
I like it, man. I think it was something that, you can take something that was obviously a terrible event and turn it into something so positive and try to move past it the best you can. Of course, the show doesn't stop. We've still got fights to train for. So to put the spin on it like that and show some positivity and some resilience going forward, I think was a very cool thing to see. So absolutely hats off to you guys. Now, of course, you just mentioned at the start of the show, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, but you're exclusively signed with Eternal MMA now. A lot of people know about this. Maybe some people don't. But can we just recap in terms of what that means? So I believe it's a 5-fight deal with Eternal MMA across a 12-month period. Now, I believe that was just Eternal has to at least offer you 5 fights or something like that. Can you retell sort of what this means in terms of being exclusively signed?
Yeah, so it's a 5-fight deal or 12 months, whichever is reached first. 5 offers, so not 5 fights, but 5 official offers. When I spoke to you last, I did actually say that I had accepted a fight in June.
Yep.
But that one ended up falling through, so I'd have to double check if that was one of the 5 or not. But I'm assuming that this is the first one of 5. So so exclusive to Eternal, obviously. Got the title fight in August, and I'll be looking to have maybe 1 or 2 more this year, and then whatever happens after that next year.
I think you might have said, I can't remember maybe what show I've seen you on, but you sort of talked about, while it is an offer of 5 fights, you're very much already on the radar of the UFC, at least you believe. So while it's an offer of 5 fights, I'm sure that's obviously regionally that sort of thing, but the UFC comes knocking sooner rather than later. That's the goal if we have a good couple of performances over your next couple of fights. Yeah,
absolutely. We got word from the UFC that they've been watching me and just want to see me have a little bit more experience first, which is understandable. I've been 4 fights into my pro career, but hopefully with a big statement, all goes well. Could maybe get that call up after this one, but whatever happens, and I'll be ready to either fight again regionally or the more experience, the better. But obviously, UFC is the goal, and there is a clause in that contract. Obviously, if I get signed to the UFC, then I'll be released from that contract.
I mean, in terms of getting more sort of experience, man, I mean, this is a big step up in terms of, caliber of opponent, experience levels and that sort of thing, in a title fight, in a big spot, in a co-main event, right on the eve of the UFC being in town sort of the next day. I mean, this is sort of the perfect scenario for you to kind of take that next leap. Like, this is sort of more than just a title fight. Yeah, it's, as you said, it's the UFC on notice, and they'll sort of be in town. So this is bigger than just a title fight for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to take this deal, is because that was a part of the offer, and that I would be getting this title opportunity on this date, and, being UFC weekend, a lot of eyeballs on that one. So it was something I couldn't turn down. And I'm so excited to go out there and perform and hopefully put a statement on this one and just show that, just continue to rise to that occasion. And like I have been in my last few fights, and the next challenge is, obviously a big one, and I'm looking forward to just going out and putting a stamp on it.
You, of course, made your pro debut with Eternal MMA back at Eternal 75, I believe it was. Now, your memories from that fight, because I think from memory it was both of you guys, you and Oliver Schmid, took that fight on short notice, on 3 weeks' notice, I think it was something like that. And that was an incredible showcase for 2 very highly touted prospects, but you made an absolute statement right from the get-go from that fight against someone in the region who was also and still is a very highly touted prospect in Ollie Schmidt out of City Kickboxing. What are your sort of memories when you look back at that fight?
Yeah, I think it was just like the perfect storm for my debut, and just the way that everything played out, short notice. I had to jump on the opportunity against like you said, highly touted prospect in Ollie, and I think the performance was great. Like looking back, it's aged well too, because I think Ollie's gone on to, he's had another big win after that, and fell short in the Dimps fight, but showed that he was very tough, and I knew he was a tough guy because I hit him with some big shots and he didn't go down. So I was aware that he had a good chin, but I think it was just a great launching pad for my career, and really got my name out there outside of Victoria, and it's just sort of led me on to the steps that followed, and here we are now after a couple more good performances since then, and back to Eternal and ready to put on another great performance for them.
Well, I mean, in terms of making a statement, man, I mean, it was very apparent right from the get-go. I think even just from the opening rounds and the exchanges that you guys had, that it was certainly obvious that there was something with both of you guys, and ultimately you got the win. I was actually out of town. You already know this, but for those that don't know, I was in Queensland for a couple of days of work, and then Sydney for a wedding. And I didn't have any plans to come back and do a podcast when Eternal was on that same weekend. And I was trying to watch some of the fights while I was away, and then I saw, I hadn't obviously heard of you before, but saw Harry Webb fight, and I thought, I've got to get back to Victoria and get this dude on the podcast because there's something special here. So I think everything sort of played out so well because it was so obvious how talented you were, and here we are, not too long later, and you're fighting for a Australian title and on the footsteps of the UFC, man. So playing out super well, and we turn our attention now to David Martinez. That fight, of course, came together. Was a fight with Wes Kappa and David Martinez, was always billed as the match to see who you would ultimately face for the lightweight championship. I'm sure you had your eyes on that fight. What did you sort of take from it, from that fight, and what sort of came out of it once you realized David Martinez was going to be your opponent?
Yeah. So I was obviously aware that I'll be facing the winner of that fight. So of course I was watching that one at home, and it was a really entertaining fight. Both had some great moments. Kappa with the knockdown in the first round. Martinez always with his great forward pressure and heavy grappling approach, and got the decision on that one. I think there was some things that I feel like I could exploit there, and some things where I thought Kappa did well and Kappa could have done better. But Martinez showed a few new things in his game, like the ground and pound, and the elbows were nice. And I actually didn't really have a preference of who I'd fight. I thought both were exciting matchups. Obviously, me and Kappa would have been a great striking match for the fans, but now we get to see, myself versus Martinez, which is it's sort of been labelled as the striker versus grappler, but I think it's also a great opportunity for me to go out and show that other side of my game, because obviously, Martinez, we know what Martinez does. He's had 18 pro fights now, so it's no sort of secret what his style is, and he's obviously going to be looking to grapple and strike too. I think his striking is sort of underrated. I think just because of his forward pressure and the way he's able to get people on the back foot to open up that grappling, it makes it tough to deal with. But just like I said, like he's had so much experience, so there's a lot of footage out there, and we've done the study and we've put in the work and the game planning and everything. So I think I'm going to be dialed in for this one, and I think it's going to be a good one.
I mean, just on that, like in terms of it being billed as sort of a striker versus kind of grappler. I mean, I was curious to know if that's sort of how you viewed it, because David's striking has improved significantly over the last sort of 12 months or so. I think you've always said you haven't really had the opportunity to show it off too much at this stage of your career because you finish your fight so friggin' early, so we don't get to see much of your ground game. But you've always expressed that that's something that you're more than competent with, probably more than people sort of realize. Now I've had David on the podcast, hasn't come out yet, probably be up in the next 24 hours. But in David's mind, in terms of what he needs to do to get the job done, he's curious as to whether you can personally survive the deep waters if he drags you into the later rounds. Of course, we haven't seen that from you yet. I think you've been to decision one time, maybe as an amateur, and all the other fights have ended sort of by finish. So your thoughts in terms of like if this fight does sort of go into those later rounds, 5-minute rounds, of course, you think you can hang with him in that sort of space?
Well, that's the thing. It's like for me, I'm only 4 fights deep in my career, and I think there's maybe like 25 minutes worth of footage to watch of my fights, and there's just a lot of questions there that are yet to be answered, and I'm living in the deep waters every day in the gym, so it'd be good to show and that I can do that, and if I do go to decision, then great, like I get to show that I can go 5 rounds, but I don't see it going there, to be honest. I think I'll get him out of there within 2 rounds.
That's the official prediction.
Yeah, inside 2.
Let's get it. Now, one of the actual feel-good moments for this outside of the cage, David coming from his win, pledged a portion of his winnings, of course, to the gym for Infinite MMA in the wake of that tragedy with the gym. I mean, look, that's not out of character for David because we know he's such a nice bloke, but that was a very nice gesture on his part, and one that I know that yourself, John, the guys at Infinite MMA certainly appreciated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't really expect it. You never really would come from your opponent, but that just shows his character. He's obviously, a great dude, and that's why there's nothing obviously personal going with this fight. It's all business. I think he's obviously really generous, and that was such a good gesture, and we're super appreciative of it.
Does it make it any more I know it's obviously once the doors close and everything, it's sort of game on, but does it in any kind of way make it any harder mentally to want to smack the guy in the head because, he makes that kind of gesture? Like, do you feel like you got to go in a bit of a darker place? Because, look, it's different if you're fighting a guy that you don't like or anything like that. It's easy to sort of dial it in. Do you have to sort of switch a little bit for a guy like David because of something like that, do you think?
Nah, I think for me, I've never really had any sort of animosity towards my opponents in general anyway. So I think even just in preparation, I know the stakes for this one. I know it's such a big opportunity for me, and just taking on a guy so experienced in David, I would never take them lightly. And I know that you have to separate business from the personal side of things. So that won't be a problem for me at all. Once we get in there, it's business only, and then afterwards we can shake hands and be mates or whatever. So yeah, it's not a problem for me.
Fighting in Western Australia for the first time in your career, assuming, even
Yes.
amateur and everything? Yeah, it's the first time you've been over there.
First time, yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it?
Yeah. It's not the first time I've been over there. First time fighting, yeah. I went over last year to watch the UFC, and
of course,
that was cool. So I actually liked Perth. It's a nice place. So I'm actually looking forward to hopefully a bit of better weather than here. But obviously with everything in the UFC and everything, it's going to be a great weekend. I'm pumped.
Going to the fights the following day?
Yeah, got my tickets, and I'm keen as it's going to be good. Except it's early morning, so I mean, I'll probably be a bit tired, but
what is it, a 6 a.m. kickoff or something for the prelims again? It's something something crazy like that.
Yeah, and I can never sleep the night of my fight, so I'll be running off maybe 1 hour of sleep and a lot of adrenaline. So
I have to get a couple of coffees in, yeah.
Yeah, a few coffees, and I'll be sweet.
Nice. I mean, you've already been to one Perth event. I was at the same one too, man, and it's electric there at the RAC Arena. Hey, I don't know how many other UFC events you've been to, but that's my experience of being quite a few. That's been the best, hands down, man. Just a hell of an atmosphere. Perth fans, and you'll experience this too at the HBF Stadium in Perth. So you wouldn't have been to the HBF Stadium then either, because you've obviously just
No, I was going to go watch last year, but we just didn't end up getting around to it. But RAC was insane. I've been to the one at Etihad a couple of times when they've come down, but I think just being the smaller venue, it just adds that more atmosphere, and that Volkanovski fight was something else.
Oh man, chills.
Yeah,
crazy chills. So lots to look forward to, man. Yeah, the HBF Stadium is just nuts. The Perth fans are nuts, man. It's just nothing like it. There's just something in the water in Perth, man, with those guys.
Yeah.
So you'll certainly love that. And we've got your teammate too, Luke Daly. He's got himself a fight in the card after this on the Gold Coast there. What's going on here? We couldn't get you guys on the same card. I mean, we talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
This couldn't come together. What happened? How did we end up on separate cards?
I think maybe I think it was we were keen. Obviously, our team was keen on getting that one on the same night. It would have been easier for us. But I think Dom being a Queensland guy, I think it made more sense to do it up there, and maybe I don't know if they had already filled the Perth card or what the case was, but Cam reached out and just said that it'd be August 31st, and Daly was super keen on that one, so jumped on it regardless, and it's going to be good. I'll have my fight, get out of the way, and then go up to Queensland and corner Daly, and hopefully get 2 big wins for us.
Hey, well, I mean, we're looking at it this way. We're not on the same card, but we're spreading the wealth for Infinite MMA across a couple of cards, man. So it'll be very cool to see. Now, this is a big fight too for Luke, because like Don Marfan, a recent title challenger for the same belt you're fighting for. We're looking at this as sort of like maybe a bit of a succession plan. You win the belt. You maybe have 1 or 2 fights sort of go through. Luke comes through, takes the lightweight belt, and sort of following that kind of order. Is that sort of a plan that you guys have got?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Luke, if he takes out Don Marfan, he's right up there because Don being a previous title challenger and a big name in the lightweight division. I think Luke takes out him, he's probably next in line. It just depends on what happens with me when I win the belt, whether I get signed in next or a couple more. But I think Dali's going to be right there, and he's going to be, if he has to have 1 or 2 more before they give him that shot, just if I've still got the title for some reason, because obviously we're not going to fight each other. We do that every Friday in the gym anyway. So, that's sort of the plan.
I like it, man. Well, first things first, it's for you going down in that co-main event versus David Martinez on August 17. Just a bit over 2 weeks away. Absolutely massively stacked card there. Of course, it's not just yourself, but we got Dims Gillies versus Sebastian Slay at the top of that card. Also joined by Frank Jankowski versus Colton Kilbasa in that flyweight title fight. One of the biggest weekends we've got to look forward to in terms of Australian mixed martial arts for Eternal 87 with an absolutely stacked card. A couple of trilogy fights on that card there too. Right on the eve of the UFC, man. Absolute privilege, I'm sure, for all of you guys to be sort of a part of this and get to showcase your skill sets. And while you're in the co-main event, I believe all the eyes are on you, man, because this is can the Harry Webb get through his next test and essentially follow that path in terms of his destiny to UFC. So appreciate your time here today, brother. Any last words before I let you go?
I'll just say quick, obviously, thank you to everybody who's got behind us in the community, everyone that's reached out, even just messages or shared, awareness for the gym. Thanks to obviously David for the kind donation. And thank you to the few sponsors that have also helped out. Cafe Leca giving us a space to train at, and Eric from D2E who's let us use the gym for strength and conditioning. Also, shout out to PRP Global. I got the new tees. They will be up for sale. I'll probably post a link in the next couple of days, and hopefully everyone gets on board those. And thanks for the support, and thanks Luke for having me on. And come August 17th, expect another highlight reel finish and great performance from myself.
Sounds good, man. We'll have you back on the show. We'll talk about the win. All the best for August 17.
Thank you, bro.